Alright, so today what we're going to be talking about is the camera accessories and equipment that I usually take with me on the go and I personally cannot live without. Coming in at number 1. So this is going to be my iPad Pro. So this thing definitely saved my life a few times, and honestly it's been such a nice switch since I've moved from a MacBook Pro to the iPad. It just seems a little smaller. I wouldn't say it's more reliable because it does have only one input, and if this thing gets destroyed while I'm on shoot, it's going to be very shitty for me. All I need to do is literally take the SD card, put it into my adapter, chuck it in the bottom of this bad boy, and I can edit through Adobe Lightroom CC. And by the time I get home, since this thing has data and LTE, it'll be on my Mac ready to go by the time I sit down. This thing has saved my life so many times, and it's a little lighter and definitely a lot smaller than carrying around a laptop all the time. I can just slip it right in the back of my camera bag and not have to worry about it or adding extra weight. Speaking of which, the next thing that I like to recommend and that I cannot live without is a camera bag. So this camera bag is the Eve Case Pro. It's definitely not the most ultimate or best camera bag I've ever used. It does lack some qualities, but as I open it, it does seem to fit everything that I own. So if you look at the top here, pull down this little flap and you can fit my cleaning kit in here, my camera with a lens, and then 2 additional lenses on here as well. I used to carry my MacBook charger in the top, but now I have all this extra space, so I tend to carry more batteries, external hard drives and such. And then in the top, this is where I keep all my adapters and sort of like SD cards, maybe a lighter or something just in case. Close it up, and then you can see, now you can see on the side it has a nice little water bottle holder, and I've kind of jerry-rigged a little strap to go around my tripod that I like to stick in here. It does have an additional tripod mount on the side, but I tend to not use that because these straps don't hold very well and it tends to slip out a lot. It's got a top carrying case for let's say my gloves. I want to carry some props, maybe a jacket, because it does get really cold here. And around the back, it's nice padded leather. They're big with nice straps, and it's going to be able to hold all my equipment that I need so far. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. So next up, I highly recommend getting a tripod. I wouldn't necessarily recommend a Joby GorillaPod to the beginner photographer, as these can run upwards of $150 to $200. If you are looking for reference, this is the Joby GorillaPod 12K, I believe. This one can hold up to a 1DX Mark II and a 24 to 70 lens. It's nice to have. I wouldn't say it's good for what I use it for. Other than that, it's a little too small. If you're very front heavy, it's gonna fall over a little bit, but it has saved my life in the past, especially when you need to hang your camera or such in a weird spot next to a pole, maybe onto a rail or something when I'm sitting at Moran's Curve and I'm trying to get a shot of the train. Just wrap this around the pole because you can easily manipulate it like so. And on the top, it's got a hot shoe swap for my camera, because I have a little plate on the bottom of my leather strap that I got. And yeah, it's practical but impractical at the same time. It's not, I wouldn't recommend it to the beginner photographer, but if you are looking to get one, they do have other versions of this. So I'll leave a link down in the description if you'd like to look at the other versions. Next up is going to be ND filters. So what I got here is I got 2 versions of ND filters. I have my regular glass filters, and then I have a variable ND filter. So if I turn it, it's going to get brighter and darker. So the point of these for me is because now it's going to be winter time, the lighting is going to be really harsh, and when you're taking portraits, I really like to have that nice bokeh in the background and having a shallow depth of field. So this is going to allow me to dim the natural light, lower my aperture, and take some beautiful portraits of people, and not have to worry about anything being overexposed that I have to fix later in post. Next up is going to be an adapter. So this is going to be my Canon to Sony adapter, as I shoot with the Sony A7 Mark II. One thing you Sony shooters are going to realize is that Sony glass is very expensive. This has saved my ass a couple times, borrowing somebody's gear and whatnot, and I think it was a cheap little $40 adapter found on eBay. It's nice. I can take it out of the packaging, leave it in the wrapper, chuck it in the corner of my bag and not have to worry about it. It has saved my ass a lot, and I would highly recommend getting an adapter. Next up, if there's one thing I definitely know as a Sony shooter, is that power is going to be your best friend. Now that it's getting colder outside, and even when it wasn't, I was burning through 2-3 batteries every shoot. So one thing I found out is that you can actually power your camera off of an adapter or a power bank like this. It does have a micro USB out and in for your camera, and when I'm on the go I can just plug it in, throw it in my bag, and not have to worry about it until I'm ready to go shoot. So this 20,000 milliamp hour battery bank has saved my butt so many times. And next up is going to be a camera cleaning kit. So the worst thing a photographer can ever do and have is spots on your camera sensor. It is the most annoyingest thing ever. I shoot in Banff, and this is where I live, so going out all the time and shooting, it does definitely put my camera through its paces, and having microfiber cloth, a sensor cleaning brush, and a blower is definitely going to save your butt. This one I believe is from Cant, it's cleaning kit. I can leave a link down in the description if you want this exact one. It's definitely nice, compact, pack it up, tighten it down, and I can throw it in my camera bag as well, and I don't have to worry about it, and I can also help clean buddies' cameras if I need. Next thing up is going to definitely be an accessory pouch. I usually keep all my SD cards or little adapters in a tiny little one of the old Canon waterproof cases, and I can just chuck it in my bag and not have to worry about any of my little accessories flying all over the place and be getting destroyed in the long run. And last but very not least is going to be external hard drives. I definitely have about 3 or 4 of them plugged into my Mac right now. I like to keep my iMac, its hard drive nice and clear, so I don't have to worry about any viruses or cluttering. And plus, when I'm on the shoot, I can plug it into my iPad and not have to worry about filling up my SD card and formatting it later in the day, or worrying about lost footage, lost photos, stuff like that. Is just gonna really keep in check, and it's gonna take your photography to the next level, not having to worry about maxing out your SD cards. So that's gonna be all of it today. These are my camera accessories that I personally cannot live without, that are always in my camera bag and ready to go when I need them. I'll leave a link down in the description to as much as the stuff I can find. I've had this stuff for quite a while, so I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to find any of these adapters or stuff like that, but I will do my best to find them. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.